Hello everyone, it's Pam from GlamJunkJournals. Thank you for being here with me today. Today we are continuing on in my series From Inspiration to Junk Journal. This is series number 9 and it's part 3. So in the last video, what we did is we put together our signature. And like I said, after we finished, I went back through on some of my pages and added a little bit extra. And let me show you what I did. I did add an additional piece of paper. This is a vintage envelope. It was a large envelope, so I just like that tattered look, and I added some modeling paste with this gorgeous rose stencil. And then I went through and I added that additional onto one of the pages. And let's see what else I did right along here. Let's see if I know I did something. Let me find it here. I did add some more gold embossing powder onto one of the pages. I just find that that's easier to do on the pages before they're added into the spine. So today we are going to continue on and we are going to attach this signature into the spine of our file folder journal cover. Yay! And if you remember, the inspiration for this whole journal is this gorgeous postcard that I recently found. I just absolutely love this. Oh, I just love this. And in addition, the gorgeous digital kit from Uniquely Ella. Some of the pages that I have right here, I just love to stare at. Oh, they're just beautiful. So like I said, today we are going to attach our signature into the spine, and then we'll see how far we get, and maybe we'll do some additional things today. And I also wanted to say thank you to Iris and to Kit. Thank you for leaving such nice comments on my videos. And to all of you, thank you for liking my videos and subscribing to my channel. It means the world to me. So let's get right into it. So let me get my area organized here. And let's see. If you remember, the spine is on, there's going to be one signature, and here is the spine. That's where the file folder folded. And so there is our spine right along there. Now, I wanted to do a 5-hole pamphlet stitch with this particular journal. Now, you could always do a 3-hole, but let me tell you the reason why I'm choosing to do the 5-hole pamphlet stitch instead. This is a taller journal, so it's about 10 inches. And to me, adding a 5-hole pamphlet stitch gives some more stability to the pages, meaning there will be 5 holes instead of 3 holding your signature into the spine. And that's kind of how I gauge whether I'm going to be using a 3-hole or a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. So to do that, what I did is I created a template. And this I've used before. I think I used this on my previous journal. And as you can tell, I've got 5 holes, and I did measure from the top and the bottom, and I can get those measurements out for you here. So this is like a teeny tiny bit shorter than 10 inches. It's about 9 7/8. And what I did is I found the middle and created a mark. And then I went, let's see, it's more of the eyeball method for me, but if you can see right along here, so it is, this is right, it's right under 5. So it's about 4 7/8, and then I just went out 2 inches each way. And I like to have about 1 inch on each edge from the top and the bottom of my spine. So that fits right along the interior there, as you can see. And what I'm going to do is clip, let me get out my clips here, clip the template to the top and the bottom of my spine, or excuse me, my journal cover here, right along the center. And I'm just going to make sure that it's right in the middle there. And this is, you know, I'm using the eyeball method again. And what I'm going to do is just make small little holes for, excuse me, the 5-hole pamphlet stitch. I'm going to be using an awl. You could also use, you know, a teeny screwdriver, anything that has a sharp point to it, maybe even a large needle. I've done that in the past. And so let me look again. I'm just going to flip this up, and I can see right in the center of where my spine is. I'm going to line that up, and it's okay if it's not exact, so that this middle hole is right in the center of the spine. So I am just going to poke these holes, and it does go through pretty easily because the fabric that I'm using is not too thick and the file folder is not too thick. All right, so I've got those poked through, and let's see if we can see them once I remove this. Yes, you can. Yay. Can you guys see that? You can see the little holes. Now the trick is, can you see the holes on the other side? Well, sort of not. So I have a little trick for you, and I saw this, and I don't remember where I saw this, but it's really cool. Let me show you. I got a couple fabric marking pens on Amazon, and I don't have a sewing background or a quilting background. I think if you are a quilter, you're probably familiar with these, or an embroidery person who does a lot of embroidery. These are cool. So basically what they do is, this came in a 2-pack, and one of them, it says water erasable pen. Now I thought, I've never seen this before, but it actually works. It's so stinking cool. And the air erasable pen is just like it sounds. It leaves a mark, but then after a while, after a couple days, the dot or whatever you mark with your fabric is supposed to go away, so you won't see it. I have not tried the air erasable pen, but I've tried this one, the water erasable pen. So I'm going to use this on the other side, because as you can tell, I can't see where any of the dots are, but I can on this side. So what I'm going to do, whoops, let me move my signature out of the way real quick, is I'm going to line this up on the other side, and this is the eyeball method again, right? And I'm going to make sure I'm looking so that it's equal distance from the top and the bottom, just like it was on the interior. And I'm going to clip the top and the bottom, and I'm going to take my little pen, and I'm going to mark the holes. I'm just going to go down the center here. And let's see if we can see our dots. You can, except for this one. There's one right there. I'm going to make sure I can see that. And as a little bonus, it's blue. I can see this one right here. I can see that one right there. and that one right there. So that's going to give you a guide when you're doing your 5-hole pamphlet stitch. Now, granted, let's hope that the actual holes match up with the other side. And I think they're going to, because I can feel that it's going right through. And I'm just going to make sure that it worked on each side here. Oh yeah, and another thing, yike, make sure you don't get poked with that. There they are. They're right along the same line. So we've got our guide for our 5-hole pamphlet stitch. Yay. All right, so now we're going to take the actual signature. And one thing that I found that works for me when putting your signature into your journal, especially if you've got papers that are different sizes and some are at the bottom, some are towards the top, that kind of thing, I want to make sure they all fit right so that they line up with the actual journal cover. So we did pretty good, you know, making sure that the signature wasn't longer than 10 inches. But if it is, that's okay, because, you know, that's a cool journal look too. But I like to make sure that it's going to line up like that. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm just making sure that the top and the bottom, it's not like it's like this. Yeah, something like that. So that it's right, you know, so that it looks right where it should be. And then I take this, my little template there, and line it up the same way. Just so that, you know, when you poke your holes, they're going to fit into your signature without, like I said, going like this, or because trust me, I've done that. All right, so that looks pretty dang good. So I'm going to clip this, the top and the bottom, move that out of the way again, and then we're going to poke our holes. And another trick that works is to take your ruler and kind of, you know, push down so that all of the papers are right in the fold. And that way, when you poke your holes, they're going through the center of each of the pages. So you want to get it pretty, you know, tight to the center. Now that looks really good. So I am just going to poke my holes right through there. So make sure that you're getting right in the center of all of the pages. And I can feel that it's coming through right on the center of the fold there. And this is usually, I'm standing up to do this just to make sure that I know what I can see what I'm doing here. Usually this works pretty well unless you have a really fat signature, and then sometimes the holes don't go right through in the center, but these did. So you can see there's my holes right along there. All right, so I'm going to carefully remove my template, keeping my pages together. And another thing that I wanted to call your attention to, because I always like to share all of my little tricks. This is something that I've never done before. As you can see right there, maybe you can't see, but I took this signature to my sewing machine and I sewed, like I tacked it down just a little bit. And I've never done that before. I have sewn signatures into my spine, the whole thing, but that's just a little, maybe a little bonus, because it keeps your signature in place so that the papers aren't moving around. So if you have a sewing machine and your signatures aren't too thick, that is kind of a cool tip. So it'll keep your pages, when you're sewing in your signature to the spine, from moving around, and it'll make it easier so that you can find all your holes. So I'm going to put, I have this little cork that I put on the end of my awl here, just because I have a tendency to poke myself. Okay, so we're going to do the 5-hole pamphlet stitch. And when I first saw this, you guys, I'm like, what in the heck? But after you do it a couple times, it's really cool, and I really like it. Okay, so what was I talking about? Oh yeah, all right. So it's the same sort of premise as the 3-hole. So I want to make sure that my signatures are right side up, meaning they're going the right way. They're not upside down. All right, and I am going to be using some embroidery thread. Now, I've also recently started using some of this waxed thread, and it's totally personal preference. This works very well also, but I've got to tell you, I like this, and I also like my embroidery thread, because this is, I make sure that, I don't take any of the, take it apart. So this is also very sturdy. So it's personal preference. You could also use any sort of other string that you have. The possibilities, use whatever you like, just so long as it's stable enough and strong enough to hold in your signatures. So I measured about 2.5 times the length of my journal for the embroidery thread. And I don't double it up. I just use one. And what you want to do is think of, where do you want your tail, meaning the end? Do you want it on the interior or the exterior? Because a lot of times, it's really cute to tie a little bead or some sort of dangle or something along at the end. Excuse me. But for this particular journal, I'm not going to do that. So I am going to start from the exterior. And when I do that, that is where your tail is going to end up. So if you wanted it on the interior, you start going through the interior. But I am going to go through the exterior on the outside. So I'm hoping that I will keep all of this in frame. So look at these cool little dots, you guys. You can see them. So you start up through the center, like so. And I'm going to pull it, not all the way. You want to leave pretty good amount of tail here. And I have seen other journalers tape the side. But as long as you watch it so that it doesn't get too short and you pull it all through and then you have to do it over again. Because that's happened to me too. All of these things. All right. So we're going to look and see where my hole is. And hopefully it will go through. Let's see if it does. I'm not sure. I may have to get out my awl again. See if that goes through. I think I need my awl again because it's not going straight through. And I think what I'll do is I'll poke the holes again on this side just to make sure they're all going through. And there we go. Just to give it a little bit extra here, right? And see, the cool thing about that little tack that I did is all of these pages are staying. They're not moving around. So if you have to go back in and, you know, fiddle around with your pages, they don't get all wonky. So let's try this again. There it goes. So like I said, we're going up through the center. Now with the 5-hole, you can go either this way or this way. I always go to the right, but just go back through the next hole. You go back down, and then you're going to go back out through the spine and pull it through like so. And just make sure you have enough on the back. And then you're going to come back from the outside and you're going to go down one more. So you can see that little dot there, and that's a bonus because it's blue. And then I'm going to go back up through that hole. And I like to pull it somewhat tight, not too tight, but not keep it real loose either. All right, so I kind of pull it tight, and then we're going to go back from the center back through this hole right there. So you're going to go back out, pull it through, and see what you can see what we're doing right there, creating a little line right along there. And, you know, kind of pull it tight, but not too tight. And then from the exterior, here's where we started in the center. We're going to go not back through there, but up through here. So I'm going to go back up through and through the whole thing. And sometimes you have to watch where your needle pokes, right? And there it goes right back up through that hole. Make sure I have enough to get back through the whole thing. I can move that off. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go back out this hole. Go back out through the whole thing. Coming back out right there. And then as you go, like I said, you kind of pull tight. You can always come back and make it tighter later. And I can show you how to do that too if I need to on this one. All right, so we've got enough leftover thread. Then we're going to go back up through this hole again. See where that little dot is right there? So we're going to go back up through there. Make sure I get it back in there the way it should be. Whoops. Make sure I'm going right in the hole there. I think it's going through, and sometimes, you know, to be honest with you guys, it does get a little fiddly. All right, now I missed the hole on that one. There it goes. It's going to go right back up. Come on, get through there. I know you go through there. All right. And then the last thing you do is you're going to go back through your center. And I guess I could clip these so they don't flop over, but that's okay. You guys can figure out what, you know, I think you guys can see what I'm doing. Now, I like to make sure these are pretty tight. See, now this one kind of isn't. Can you see that? It kind of has a little bit of extra there. So I like to go back through, and you kind of have to follow where you went. So if you remember, we go up through here, and then we go down through here. So you kind of follow where the thread went, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be pulling these just to make sure it's tight. And I've also found that it's harder to pull these really tight as you're threading your needle through, because sometimes you have to move the papers out of the way to see your holes. So that's why I kind of like to do it as I go. So let's see how this feels. We're going to go back out the original hole in the center. Get that through. Pull that through. Come on. There we go. And there you have it. Doesn't that look pretty? Yay. And when I like to tie these, and what I do is I make sure, like I said, that it's pretty taut. As you can see, there's not a lot of extra. It's okay if there's a little. Let's check on the other side just to see that it's pretty tight. And it is, right along there. So what I do is I take one end of the thread and put it on one side of the one that went across and one on the other. And then I'm going to tie it once. And then we're going to put a little bit of, I put a little bit of Fabri-Tac or art glitter glue right on the center where that knot is. And then tie it the other way. So what I mean by that is if you went the left under the right, you want to do the right under the left, just so that the knot stays. You can do it 2 or 3 times. Doesn't really matter here. But I just like to make sure that it's pretty secure on there. Okay, so there is the 5-hole pamphlet stitch. Yay! Cool, right? Now, let's check this out. Hold on. I'm going to show you in action to get rid of these blue dots. So let me get a little bit of water on my rag here. So I've got a little rag, and this is wet but not sopping. And then you just go right along your dots. And granted, since the dots were blue and this is blue, it probably is not that big of a deal. And if you're covering up your spine with, you know, some sort of fabric or decoration, it won't really matter. But it is really, really cool. So I don't know if you can see. Now that's just because it was wet. But right there, there is no blue dot on any of these. Is that cool or is that cool? Yay, yay, yay. So there is our signature. Yippee! I'm going to make sure that it is, you know, so that it folds up, which it does. This is what I like to do with my signatures, is just to make sure that they fold and they're not all, you know, weird or anything like that. So that is the signature. And if you remember, this is going to fold up like this, and it's going to fold up like that. So we've got our signature in. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to stop the camera for just a minute, and I thought we could do some embellishing of the interior of the journal cover, and then we're going to just keep embellishing is what we're going to do. So hold on just a minute, and I'm going to gather some goodies, and I'll be right back. All right, I have gathered a bunch of goodies and I'm so excited. This is probably my favorite part. Well, I can't really say that. I like all of this. It's just so much fun. But you guys know how I love to add sparkle and bling and lace and all sorts of embellishment. I just love the way it looks on journals. So I have gathered a whole bunch of goodies. A lot of these trims are from Bohodaydreams, and I gotta say that Sheila has the most gorgeous, gorgeous trims and bundles, and I will put a link in the description box if you're not familiar with Bohodaydreams. It's a Facebook group, and Sheila also has a YouTube channel, and her trims and bundles are just spectacular. So, like I said, we're continuing on here. So, ooh, I'm just so excited. Okay, so here is our signature, right? It looks fabulous in there. And what I have to remind myself is this is going to close right along this edge. So a lot of times I like to add a lot of floof and things that stick out over the edge of my pages. Well, I can't do that much on here because it's going to abut against this, and then it'll get all crowded and get all bunched up and it won't work well. So we're going to do some additional embellishing with some laces and some fabric and trims, and let's just go for it. So if you recall in one of my earlier videos in this particular series, I did add this little tuck up at the bottom, and that is going to come into play, but I wanted to add a fabric flip up over the top of this, and then my plan is to put some additional ephemera or a tag underneath that fabric flip up. There's a mouthful for you. So what I did off of camera is I layered let me move this out of the way so you guys can get a good view. 3 pieces of trim and lace. This is from Bohodaydreams, right along there. And this is some blue lace from my stash right along here. I just cut it out. This was a huge piece of lace, and what I did is I cut it out following the outline of the flowers, and I kind of like the not an even cut, meaning not straight up and down. I kind of do an outline, like I said, and that gives it more of an applique look once it's cut out. So that's something that you could think of when you have a big lace piece that has some sort of pattern or design in it. Cutting around the pattern of the design looks really cool. So that was what that was. And this was a gorgeous piece of applique that I got in some Happy Mail. And so what I did is I layered the 3 together and I tacked it down with some Fabri-Tac. So this is all one piece. And what I wanted to do is put that right along here. And so the measurement of the bottom piece, and well, each of the pieces was exactly the width of this particular panel. And it's going to be a little bit long because I want a little bit of that bottom to show through so you can see that there's some, a pretty digital underneath that. So I am going to, I don't know, you guys, fold that over and then, there's my little strings, fold that down like that. That doesn't look that pretty to me, just saying. So I think what I'm going to do is cut this down right along the top there, even though that's really pretty. And I can also probably use this, somewhere, right? Can't get rid of that. That's a cute little cluster looking deal here. All right, so what I did is I just cut the, you know, the top off of there, like I said, so it's a little bit shorter than the length of the panel. And I am going to tack that down with some Fabri-Tac, and we're going to go from there. I did get some of these Sugar Bell icing bottles because, you know, you guys tell me what works for you, and it's more of a fine tip, and it applies the Fabri-Tac in a thinner layer rather than just the tube, so that you know, you get more of a fine tip application of the glue, and it kind of helps with the glue globs, which, you know, I do not like at all. So that looks fabulous right there, but I'm going to tack that down with something additional, and I haven't decided what yet. So we're going to leave that to dry, and I think what we'll do is come back to it. So looking at my pages, I think this needs something right along here. And the way I like to look at my pages is whatever pockets or flips and things that I add, I use those as opportunities for additional layering. So what I'm trying to say here is this looks pretty as is, right? But why not add something to the bottom of this? Okay, why not? There is no reason why not, unless you don't care for that. But I like to have little dangly deals and things hanging out of the bottom. So let's add something right there. So I thought I could just use the crocodile here. I'm going to stand up for this and put a hole right there. And get that out with that little bit of extra lace. Move that out of the way there. And then I'm going to add an eyelet right here. Maybe. Because sometimes if you go through lace, it kind of blocks the way, but I know you go in there. There we go. Put that together there. Just squeeze tight. Let me see, I think I didn't get it through all the way. Let me do that again. There, okay. And the reason I was saying that is because I was feeling the back side, and I just want to make sure that that's flush, which it is, right along the bottom. And how cute would that be with a dangle, like, you know, a beaded dangle or something like that, or perhaps some ribbon. So I brought some ribbon out here, and I also brought some eyelash trim, which I love eyelash trim. And I also have some blue. Isn't that pretty? Because just the pop of the navy, I think it's going to look really cool. So let's do a little bit of layering of our bow here. And I've also got some sari silk ribbon here. I've got a couple different ones. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. Does that look good? I think so. So let's just see how this works. So I need my pokey tool, which is basically this guy. I'm just going to poke that through there. And I've got so many ideas for embellishing, you guys. Oh, there's so many embellishing ideas and so little time. So I'm going to see if I can get this poke through there too. This silver eyelash trim. And like I said earlier, I'm going to use both gold and silver. Now, I can't see if this is coming through. There it is. There we go. I'm going to use both gold and silver in this journal. So I'm going to cut this down so that it is almost the same length as the blue sari silk. And I'm just going to tie a little bow, because you know, I love bows. I'm a bow girl. Let's see how this works. It may look wonky, you never know, because this is as you go crafting. And if it does, that's okay, right? It's no big deal. Let's see, it might be a little too much with the eyelash trim. I'm not sure. Let's finagle around with this guy. I don't know. All right, now that did not get all the way tied, so I'm going to do that. Just along there. See how this looks. So we've got a little bit going on there. Now, I don't like the way that bow looks, you guys. Why not? Because it's being funky, that's why. But I know I'm going to make that look good. I will make that look good. So maybe what's tripping me up is this eyelash trim is a little too long. So I'm going to cut off some of the edge here. Because like I said, I still like the little danglies, right? All right, so let's see. Does that look good? What do you guys think? I think that that looks really cute along the bottom here. Now what's going to happen is when your journal closes, you can have a little bit of the floofiness at the bottom, which I think is really cute. So, all right, we're going to continue on, and I may fiddle around with that a little bit more, but that's what we're doing for now. So we've got that, and then I thought right along here, well, of course, this needs something, right? So of course it does, Pam. So like I said, this little cutout of my big piece of lace, I thought would look really pretty, just draped over the side. So it comes out a little bit on the back of the journal and the front. And additionally, this gorgeous piece from Bohodaydreams, I thought would look absolutely beautiful going across the back. Now, this is how this piece came. It was this particular size, and look how cool this is. I'm going to glue it, and I'm going to clip this down on the side so my my journal pages don't keep getting in the way there. All right, so we're gonna glue this right along the back, right along that side. So I'm going to take Fabri-Tac again and get a generous amount this time. And tack that right along the back, right there against, you know, the edge of that particular panel. Get that secured down there. Now this is a heavier piece of trim here, so I'm not real worried about the glue globs. And then on the other side, I'm going to tack it down also. Come on. Now I've got to think about this. Do I want this as a little teeny tuck? I don't think so. So I'm going to put Fabri-Tac across the whole thing and fold that over. That looks really pretty, right? But we're not done. We are not finished. No siree. So I want to make sure that that is towards the end. So again, let me get out another clip here. I'm going to hold that down right along there. And again, make sure that this is secure on there. Now, if I thought really ahead of time, I could have done this when I was sewing around the exterior. But to be honest with you, sometimes it's hard for me to think that far ahead with what I'm going to add. It just, Okay, so while that dries right there, because we're not done with that, because like I said, when I add one thing, it leads me to, oh, I need to add something else on here. And that's just how I roll. All right, so we got our cute little bow there, but I think I am going to finagle with that, but I'll do that off camera. We're going to come back to, there's that piece there. We're going to come up to the top here, and I thought it would be really pretty if, let's think about this, we could add, getting some more trim out here, this particular bit right across the top there. I think that that looks absolutely gorgeous. Now with that, I'm wondering if folding that over would look pretty. Because what's going to happen is that's going to fold up like that, and that's going to fold up like that. So basically what I'm getting at is this is going to be on the front cover. And I don't know what I'm doing with the front cover yet, so I don't know if I want to do that. But do I want to do that? It looks really pretty, but I don't think I want to do that. I don't. So instead, I thought I could add a couple more little eyelets up at the top here. So I'm going to eyeball these two. And get that through there. And make another little hole. And you can see that right there, but I do have to cut off the rest of the fabric that's getting in the way because I want to make a hole. All right, so there's one right there. And then I do want another one. So I'm doing the eyeball method again. Cut off the rest of that. And let's add some more eyelets. Now what I'm thinking is this is the interior and this is the exterior. So you're going to see this on the cover, but that's okay. So what I'm thinking here is, where do I want the top of the eyelet? I think I want it right here, because that to me looks more finished, and that's going to be on the cover. So let's get this guy on there if I can. Make sure I got everything going here and I'm not clipping too much together, so I can see what I'm doing. Squeeze really hard. Yep, that works good. Where's my other eyelet? Make sure that that's going all the way through on the other side. If it's getting, you know, encumbered by the lace, which it is not, I don't think. There we go. can't see what I'm doing. What am I doing? Oh, I'm holding it upside down. That's what I'm doing. Duh. Okay. No wonder I couldn't figure it out. Squeeze that. Make sure that they're in there. All right. Now that's not coming out for some reason. So there we go. Now it is. See if I went through the whole way. I did. And that looks fabulous. Let's take this off because that's just clanking around there. Okay, so we've got that, that, and that. Now, so this is going to be the way it's folding up, right? So that looks really cool. Now, on top there, I am going to add some more ribbon. And I don't know what I'm going to add yet. So I'm going to come back to that because what I wanted to show you guys is how I'm going to do this right here along the side. And I thought this, like I said, would be really pretty going over the side like that. And I just think that that looks really, really pretty. And I'm not sure if something additional underneath this, like maybe this gorgeous cheesecloth sticking out right along there. Let's see. Let's see if that kind of looks good or if it kind of looks weird. Yeah, it's covering up too much of this, so I don't think so. I'm gonna move it. So I don't think so. All right, so let's tack this, or actually not tack, glue this down along the side. All right. But what's bugging me is right along here too. This is bothering me, right? This straight line right there, that to me says put something right on this line. Am I thinking too much? Probably. Let's see. Some more lace. Maybe, you know, as a little bit like that. Oh, that looks pretty good. We might do that. All right, well, let's tack this down. Or I should keep saying tack, glue. Let's glue this down. So I'm going to go around the whole edge, all of the edges of this. And I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac again. And I'm just going on, I'm not going on the thin netting in between. I'm going on all of the thicker parts of the applique. Just going along here. You can always come back and, you know, add some additional glue, which I'm sure I'll have to do. And then flip that across like that. Oh, that looks really good. Really good. Oh, wow. You guys see that? Let's get it lined up right along there. And right along like that. Oh, I think that looks so pretty. I think that looks really, really good. And this needs some more up here, right along there. And up at the top, I can tell right there. Let's see about this side. I don't know. That looks pretty good, you guys. That looks really, and we've got a little pocket right there. And of course, I'll have to add something right there. You know me, right? Okay, so we've got that. Let's see. There's one other thing that I wanted to do today, but I'm not sure if we're going to have enough time. Okay. Oh, I do know what I wanted to do. Where is that? Hold on. We're not done with the interior, you guys. I thought this would be really pretty right along there, because it'll stick out of the bottom like that. I think that looks really pretty. So I'm going to cut a little bit off there. Cut this gorgeous trim piece in half. Get that glued down. Come on, Fabri-Tac. Put that just right along the side. And like I said, I do love when things hang over the edge like that. And maybe this little extra bit right here would go, you know, on another part of the journal. I'm not sure. I don't know. And I think I am going to fiddle with this bow. But so there you have it. We've got some additional embellishments for our cover, right? And then we've got the fabric flip up right there, which looks absolutely beautiful. And then that folds up like that. And I think what I'll do right now is cut these little deals off, because I am not going to use those for anything. So we've got some additional things going on our cover. But trust me, we are not done yet. So come back for the next episode and we're going to continue on. We're going to make some more embellishments for this, and I'm just so excited. I've got lots of ideas. So thank you for being here with me today and continuing on our file folder journal cover. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.